ending. Here we go. And there I was talking to you for a few minutes and then realized that my battery was dead. Great! Hi, and welcome to our beautiful fall day today. Eddie and I are on the road, of course, trying to take advantage of any beautiful days left of the riding season. If you've followed me for a little while already, you know that this is not our bike. But let me explain. So we own the Soft and Slim that's up front there, and we own I'm in 883. What happened, I will explain it in a different video. So on this note, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss when the video actually goes live. But we basically have this Iron 1200 here as a loaner bike for about a week, which means it's the perfect opportunity to talk about the exact differences between the Iron 883 and the Iron 1200. Oh, isn't that a beautiful day today? Honestly, seriously, lucky us living the beautiful Okanagan here in Canada. British Columbia! We are on our way to the Green Mountain Road, which is basically in the Penticton and Oliver area. We already drove through this road in the summertime, but we said like, okay, with all the beautiful leaves and everything, we definitely have to come back in the fall when everything changes colors. So that's what we're going to do today. Doesn't it look like paradise, guys? Like, look at that. The mountains, the lake, the sun, 2 Harleys. We're definitely trying to enjoy life here. Alright. Let's start with the comparisons. First of all, the name. Oh my god, sometimes I'm too funny. So Iron 883 versus Iron 1200. What does the numbers mean? It's really the cc. Like the Iron 83 has 883 cc, Iron 1200 has 1200 cc. Super easy, super straightforward. So which means the Iron 1200 is a little bit more powerful. It costs a little bit more to insure it, at least if you're living in BC, and their insurance goes hand in hand with the cc of the bike. And then of course the colors and the color schemes that would come with each bike are also different. If I remember, I will blow up in a little picture and series here of like what colors like either bike do come in. The 2019 Iron 883 model we own, owned, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. We used to ride throughout the year, let's put it this way. Was a denim black and we absolutely loved it. Difficult to keep clean. If you have scratches you can't really touch them up, but gorgeous. Like such a beautiful paint job. And one big thing, well, a lot of people are the reason why people compare the two bikes are really the price points, right? Like both bikes are actually pretty entry-level bikes for Harley Davidsons. But the 1200, of course, because it has a little bit more cc, is a little bit more expensive. Not by too much though. So it's just a matter of like, would it be worth for you to upgrade to like a bigger engine or not? Because both really do have the Evo engine in them. So they're kind of like bulletproof. They're around for like, what, 30 years? 40 years? And they're pretty much really bulletproof engines, yeah. But with that also, they just shake a lot. They're old. So they're like, they weren't really changed since like at some point in the 80s. If I'm incorrect, I'll blend in the right information. But that's nothing in comparison to the Milwaukee 8 engines that the Softails do have. So you're getting shaken through quite freaking good. I mean, here, let's see that. Especially when you're standing. Do you see how much I'm shaking? You don't do that with a Softail. But that also could be the beauty of it. Both engines do only have 5 gears. So sometimes the 6th gear will be phenomenal, especially if you go higher speeds. But I must say, like, even riding the highway here right now, it actually feels way more comfortable on the 1200, funny enough, than on the 883. Even though that with the mini apes that you have on the 1200 versus the 883, it seems that you're getting shaken through a little bit more, but the seating position is way more comfortable. Even though the seat on the 883 is nicer, a little bit more comfortable. It's like the tuck and roll seat, where here on the 1200 you have almost like a cafe racer diamond stitch seat. And because this one is a 2021 model, it wasn't really set in or broken yet very much, so not as comfortable. The little bum. We have about like 15 bikes behind us. I have no idea how that happened. That looks amazing, you guys. Holy shit, it's not ending. Yeah, with the 1200 you can definitely feel, especially when you are already in a higher speed, that the acceleration is still a little bit better than on the 883. The lights and indicators pretty much are all the same, but with the 1200 you get this little mini fairing coming with it, which you don't get with the 883. Oh, entire group. Oh, I think that's the other ones that we so just up in Penticton. And then just with us staying up there, the lights and indicators are pretty much the same. There's no difference. They're the same halogen lights, so no LEDs with either of them. But you can always upgrade it to them. So you can actually buy aftermarket LEDs and switch them out yourself. It's actually pretty easy. And then I think one of the biggest differences for sure are the handlebars here. Like the 1200 automatically comes with the mini apes, where with the Iron 83 you lean a little bit more forward, you're a little bit more in a squirty position, which also is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you're planning on going longer routes, it's definitely easier to sit more upright. It's a little bit more easy on your back. Fun fact, actually, we were planning on putting mini apes on your little Iron 83 when we still had her. But it would have cost us about $2,000 to put those on, so that's a big money difference point right there, if you were ever wondering why. There we go. Woohoo! The mini apes are definitely nice to have, 1000%. If you're riding in a bigger group, and most of the guys or like ladies that are riding in the group have bigger bikes, like the Slim or Baggers, Touring, whatever, it is easier to keep up with the 1200. She's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more speed, like it speeds up faster. Like I was going on a group ride to the 883 also, it was no problem, but I was still fighting a little bit more to keep up. With the 1200, it is so much easier for me to keep up with Andy, to be honest. And actually just going over those bumps. Suspension is not really a thing with either. If you're planning on going longer distance, think of getting potentially something different. With that, I'm not saying you can't do it at all, because we also did it. I mean, we moved across Canada on the Iron 883, and now I actually know why everybody told us, oh my gosh, you guys are crazy, you can not do that on a sporty. We did, and now that we rode bigger bikes, we understand why people kept saying that. But it's doable. It is totally doable. Just not as comfortable, period. With the tank size, you're really getting enough mileage out of it. Like the 883, we were like between 200 and 250 kilometers we always got out of it. With the 1200, I'm not 1000% sure yet how much I could push it, just because I didn't have it enough, like long enough yet. But I could see that it might be just a little bit below that, just because it has more power. Foot controls would be probably the next thing we should talk about, because both, again, the 883 and the 1200, they have the mid controls foot pegs. So neither of them have floorboards or have mid forwards or forwards from the factory, but you can also easily change them if you'd like. Because I'm 5'3" right now, so I'm relatively short, and my knees are quite up high, if you see that. So if you're a little bit taller, you could potentially have the feeling as if you would be sitting squished on it. Where, to be honest, the mini apes here in the 1200 would definitely come in a little bit more handy, because you're not feeling as much of a taco when you have to lean forward. Seat height wise, it seems that the 1200 is a little bit higher, and I'm actually curious. So future me, please Google which seat height is higher. But the 1200 seems to be, it at least feels a little bit higher. Regardless, I can flat foot either the 883 and the 1200 effortless. Again, I'm 5'3", not the tallest, but the fact that both bikes are quite narrow, that helps. Would I buy the 883 again, or would I rather go to the 1200 right from the get-go? Such a tough question. Honestly, I think I would still go, I think I would still start with the 883. Few reasons. A, cheaper. We just started out, that was the first bike we ever owned. That was the first Harley we ever owned. And it's just an easier way to get into the motorcycle world. And because it has a less cc, the insurance is cheaper also, which was nice to get started on. Because we legit had no idea if we even would like ride motorcycles, nevertheless love it as much. Or if we could afford it, or how the weather is going to be in freaking Canada. Well, back then when we bought it, it was still in Ontario, so not quite as nice as in British Columbia. Would I upgrade from the 883 to go to the 1200? Nope. I think at that point, as soon as you sit on the sporty ones, and if you want to upgrade, the upgrade to 1200 is not big enough. It would not be worth it for us, especially because we discovered the longer trips, like touring a little bit longer. And I mean, we started to really fall in love with the soft tails as well as the street glide and the road glide. So yeah, the 1200 itself, that would be just not, it would make sense for us personally. If I would be you and you can't decide between either of them, go to your closest dealership and ask if you can test ride them. Because as long as you have to feel comfortable on them, like there's no point with going either of them if you don't feel comfortable sitting on them. Like even if you are just about to take your license, or you don't want to take a stranger's bike out yet or something like that, at least sit on it. Sit on it, put your feet up, ask a salesperson to help you holding up the bike, and get a feel for it. Because believe it or not, every bike feels so different. Like even though the frame here, the engine and everything is the same, just the seats, the handlebars, they still feel different. But with this being said, I hope that video helped you guys a little bit when it comes to deciding between them, or see if either of them would be worth it for you or not. Oh, actually, so big shout out also to Gasoline Alley, Harley Davidson here in Kelowna, who were just amazing enough to actually give us this bike for a week. And while you're still at it, subscribe to my channel, and while you're down there, also turn on the bell notifications and give this video a big thumbs up, because it's going to help me and my channel out a lot. You know, just all the YouTubery. And then this way you can also make sure that you don't miss any other future videos. Until then, I hope you guys have tons of fun and are riding safe out there. And we will see each other next week. Take care. Bye bye. Do 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 do. 30.